Al Tavin's at the burger shed, he ordered a number 3. Bacon double cheeseburger, curly fries you'll see. Tavin ramping up the holler, Tavin trying to make a dollar, Tavin give him a holler, he'll mow your grass today.
Welcome to the Tavin Dillard Podcast, y'all guys. Season 15's episode 2's. We barely into the season 15's of the Tavin Dillard Podcast. Me, I am Tavin Dillard, in case you was wondering, and I got Tavin's Lawn Care Services. I'm a mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. Got on my hat right now, my Tavin's Lawn Care Services hat. Welcome in, y'all guys. Appreciate hearing from y'all. It's been busy. It's been a busy week or two. A lot went on last week. I don't know how much you got your ear to the interwebs grindstone or whatever, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a 5-day auction that you might have heard about that should be ending today. It started, last Thursday night on the 20th, so it's wrapped up today. And so the auction was, I guess, it's like probably too late to bid at this point. You just check. I'll put the eBay link. That way you can at least see how the auction turned out. But I did possums art. It's called Gather Possums. You know how folks got them signs in their houses around their kitchen table say gather together or gather blessings or live life love or whatever, or live laugh and love. Well, I did one kind of like that and said Gather Possums, and I drawed a possum on it, and I signed it, and acrylic paint on a piece of wood, also with a Sharpie marker, that kind of thing. So it was good. So anyhow, you can see how that turned out. A little art for the holiday season. You ain't going to get it. Whoever bid on it ain't going to get it until it's not in time for Thanksgiving. I'll tell you that. That's peekaboo in just a couple of days away. But you will have it. You should have it for the Christmas times, and I mean it's good for all years long. It don't have like a particular season painted on it. It just says Gathered Possums. That could be any time. You know about possums. So anyhow, that's a hoot of a time. Let's see, who else did I hear from? I don't have it in front of me, y'all guys. Now I didn't. I got an email. Somebody sending a Q&A for season 15. For the end of the season. So I just tucked that away. A lot of text messages because I was texting about the tour, and you may have heard by now. If you have not heard by now, the Trailer Park Dreams tour has been canceled. So I had a show in Nashville. That was great. Some of y'all was there. Appreciate y'all being there. The Los Angeles show, that did not sell enough tickets. Chicago did not sell enough tickets. So I was going to be there December 7th and then December 16th in Chicago. And the management agency, that helped me with the tour, they was like, we just need to make a call on this whole tour. I was like, okay, so that's how you do it. Now, partly, you just learn a lot. It's not like there ain't folks that want a live show in their neck of the woods. And I know I've been hearing a lot from different places. They're like Alabama says, come on here, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania. There's places where people keep saying, come on out here. And I'm working on some new shows. So if you was hoping to go to one of those shows or plan on going to one of those shows, firstly, if you bought tickets for any of them shows, you get your money refunded. Should be here this week at the latest that you get that refund back on them tickets you bought. And you just gotta. I think what I learned is I gotta produce. If I'm gonna do a live show, I gotta go to a venue that's cheaper and maybe even smaller, because the more folks that need to make money off your show, the less money you make. So that's how that go. And it's a good, learning experience. Businessman. I know how to mow lawns. I don't know how to produce a live show, but I learned something from the management company I worked with. Appreciate them. And I'm looking at some new shows coming up. So there will be more shows. That's the hope. But I don't have any lined up the moment that I'm recording this podcast. So that happened in the last week. And I don't know what I do have a box of tour shirts in my trailer, and I don't know what you do with tour shirts for a tour that didn't really happen. Happened one show out of 7, but I don't know. I guess I'll just sell them on my site. Maybe somebody still want to wear them. They good, they good for all kind of things, from push-ups to softball to you name it. So that's what's going on. Show notes today. I'll put the eBay link if the the auction ain't expired. I don't know what time on the 25th, which is today, it goes down. So it might be done by the time you listen to this. But anyways, the link will be there, and you can see how the auction turned out if you didn't get a chance to bid on it. And then I'll put a link to the shirts. The deal going on with the new bacon shirt that says Vitamin B, fueled by bacon. I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you buy the shirt today, you're going to get the $5 off coupon for the Tavin's bacon bag. So you just buy the bacon shirt, and in a day or two, maybe 3, you'll get an email with a coupon code for Tavin's bacon. So that might be something good for the Christmas time. $5 off. That's what we call a bargain in my neck of the woods. So I'll put a link to the shirts, the new merch. I do have the new donut shirt too. It's I'm fueled by vitamin D. It didn't say donuts on it. But the bacon one's got the coupon attached to it if it's something you're interested in. And all the other ones, Early Bird Gets to Perm, Tavin's Lawn Care Services, all that thing. So that's going to be in there. If you want to help out the podcast, Venmo is at Tavin Dillard, Tavin-Dillard, but you'll see that in the show notes if you want to pitch in. Thank y'all that have helped with that, making the podcast go. So that's, I think, it. I can't, and now that Christmas time's going, people thinking Black Fridays and all that stuff, you'll see a link to the personal video greetings if somebody needs that for the Christmas times. Okay, so what happened in my neck of the woods this week? Well, them elementary kids, how them elementary school kids, they did all this art this past week. They did that turkey art. Tissue papers. Now that's stepping it up. I know that the tissue paper pipe cleaner. It's a little more than just the turkey hand. You know how you just trace your hand. Well, that's one of the smartest. Whoever invented that turkey hand art, buddy, I want to shake that turkey hand. Tissue paper, pipe cleaners, turkey hand, glue, construction, like that kind of thing. So it's like you're going to outline your hand. This is elementary school kids' art. But then they got construction paper. Of course, that's what you trace it on. You need like a pencil, that kind of thing, marker. Pencil's a little better. It don't leave as much on your hand. Them kiddos, them elementary school kiddos, will trace it with the marker, and it'll get on their fingers and make a mess. They scratch their nose. All of a sudden, it's making a mess on their face. And then they got glue, because if you're going to do tissue paper, you're going to make the plumes on the turkey or any of them feathers or anything. It's kind of like the tissue paper, but you got to glue it on there. And you know how it is when you're a little elementary school kid. You glob on that glue so bad, and then you smash that tissue paper on it, and that tissue paper real thin. And then all of a sudden you tear that tissue paper, and it just looks like this nasty old mess on the back of this poor turkey, like it got the mange or something. But it's fun time. And the pipe cleaners, I don't know what they was doing with them. Maybe the kids that couldn't figure out the tissue paper got to glue pipe cleaners on for its little feathers. But anyhow, they had all that. Here's the deal. The elementary school kids were supposed to take, they did them crafts, and then they go down to the nursing home. And then in a nursing home, they show off their thing, and it's this big Thanksgiving thing between these elementary school kids and the nursing home residents. Well, Luke Bryan Spencer, that's one of Delma Spencer's kiddos, he ate glue on the way to the field trip. He just ate it, steady ate it, and because he thought, well, once I get to the nursing home, they probably got all kind of soda pops and goodies for me, and I'm gonna ask for Dr. Pepper, and they had to give it to me because I got glue in my throat and I got to drink something down. I'm gonna ask for Dr. I mean that he's cut from the same, cloth as his mama, Delma Spencer. Like, what can I do to finagle my way into getting something free and making them feel bad? Boy, like they doing me a favor, and they doing the world a favor by giving me something for free. Delma did that with them kiddos' bloody little stubby teeth. And ice cream section of Rickard's grocery store, dropping them in there, telling them kiddos the tooth fairy bring them ice cream. Well, all that happened was Kevin Rickards found them little bloody teeth one day, way longer than he needed to. Like, he should have probably found them a year sooner, but I guess he overlooked that part of the, I don't know how it works. I didn't peek my head in that frozen freezer, so it might be something where there's like a shelf, and they fell down between the shelf, and then you got to move stuff even though they're there. I don't know. Kevin do run a good grocery store, but he let them bloody teeth slip by his radar somehow. Anyhow, instead of, kicking Delma out the store and making her pay for dropping bloody teeth, or I don't know what you do, he just gave her a free gallon of ice cream, maybe a couple quarts, I don't remember, but so that she'd never do that again. I'm like, you don't negotiate with old Delma Spencer after she did that. You rewarding her with ice cream? So you can see Luke Bryan Spencer thinks, well, this is how you live your life. You eat glue and ask for a free Dr. Pepper. So he takes after his mom. He ain't supposed to eat glue. I mean, I think everybody knows I ain't supposed to eat no glue. Come on, Luke Bryan. So the kiddos did the art at the schoolhouse is what I was saying. And then they bring it to the nursing homes, but on the way, Luke Bryan, I don't know if he brought some glue, had a handful of glue, anyhow he ate it. You remember going on field trips as a kid? I mean, it's kind of fun. It's kind of exciting, everybody gets in that, you getting out of your class early, or you getting out, it's just a little different thing, break up the routines, and then you get on that bus, and depending if you're a city kid, like I could get to the elementary school without having a city bus pick me up, but, them boys out in the country, buddy, they getting picked up in the morning, and boy, you bumpity bump on that, but probably one of the unsafest rides. I mean, it's safe in the sense that you hit a deer, the deer's gonna feel it a lot more than your school bus, but forget about even the notion of a seatbelt or anybody really staying put. Some people wander all over them school buses. Don't matter no how, that's what happened. Even like a fire drill when you was in elementary school is breaking up the routines. It's pretty fun if you ask me, because you're getting out of class and you walking out onto the field or whatever, or the little playground. But there's always drills. Our school never caught fire. Luke Bryan Spencer, he had that glue. So here we are. We're at the nursing home. Luke Bryan's chewing on that glue or swallowing it. He's like sticking his tongue out, pointing at his mouth. He goes, I swallowed glue. I can't, I need a Dr. Pepper. Now, I'm saying he did it on purpose. He's saying it was accident. I don't know how you I'm pretty sure it was deliberate. He deliberately ate that thing. But, I can't get in the mind of Luke Bryan Spencer, nor do I want to. But he knowed he could ask for that Dr. Pepper once he's down there. They just gave him what they did, though. They just gave him a cup of water in a 6-ounce styrofoam cup. And that was, just tap water, just standard room temp. He didn't get ice cubes in it or nothing like that. He started eating the cup, and I don't know if it's just because he's ornery, like his mama, or he's mad that he didn't get no Dr. Pepper and his little plan didn't work. But he's eating that styrofoam cup and just spitting the pieces on the floor. You know them little styrofoam cups will break off, and then you get little bits and pieces, and he just spitting them on the floor. Dewey Morton, who you know and I know as a nursing home resident, is sorely mischievous. But that's his home. The nursing home's where he lived. I ain't never seen Dewey Morton so fired up. He's seen that little old boy come in there, demand a Dr. Pepper, get his little water, not be thankful for that water, then all of a sudden start chewing up that cup and spitting them little bitty pieces on the ground at the mess hall, because that's where they meet. Because the mess hall, yeah, you eat there during dinner, or, supper times or whatever times of day, but then they use it like a multi-purpose room, for the plays and the crafts and the festivals and the get-togethers and whatever they got on. That's the main place. They got the back patio, a little recreation out there, but I'm telling you, the mess hall's the main place. That's where we are. That's where all this is going on. You can see it in your mind's eye. Little Luke Bryan Spencer just kind of mad, just spitting the styrofoam cup. And Dewey Morton, he probably got a plan to be mischievous, because that's how he rolls in life. But all of a sudden, he see this little boy just messing up his home. His eyes get wide. Dewey don't care for that. He don't care for that. Like, he wasn't smiling, he wasn't snickering, nothing. I ain't never seen him like this. He handed Luke Bryan Spencer a broom, and he told him to clean it up. He says, you clean that up right now, young man. Called him a young man, buddy boy. Put him in his place like that away. And the thing about it is, no matter how ornery a kid you are, old folks at a nursing home, they can scare the obedience right back in you. Right back in you. And little Luke Bryan Spencer, he was pretty bad with that broom, so he got down on his hands and knees, and he picked it up one little itty-bitty styrofoam piece at a time. But he got it done. Took him a while, but he earned that floor time. Every second he spent on that floor on his hands and knees, he earned it. That's what he did. And Dewey Morton was like a supervisor or something like that. And, you can see it in Luke Bryan's eyes. He was scared, intimidated. And while Dewey Morton was on everybody's good side by enforcing manners with Delma's boy, He snuck out of there and hit on the school bus that brought all them kiddos. Just when you think, oh, Dewey's turned a corner, boy, now he's looking out for other people. He's taking care of the nursing home that he lives in, the place that he loves. Dewey Morton is sorely mischievous. He's hunkered down between them seats on that school bus. Them green old seats on vinyl, fake leather, you know what I'm talking about. He's probably gone 5 minutes before folks noticed. That ain't bad. It's been worse with Dewey. 100% it's been worse with Dewey. And with Dewey, that's barely enough time to get down between them seats. You give him 5 minutes, he ain't fast. He mischievous, but he ain't fast. Before so he got hunkered down in between his seats before he had to get right back up and get marched right back in that nursing home. At this point, he is snickering. Now he's back to the old Dewey we know, and he had a job in the puppet show. Did I tell y'all that? The kids come down there with their art to show it off, and the nursing home residents ooh and ah over it, or they just yell at it, or they try to crumple it up, or somebody might try to eat it, or that kind of thing. But that's what the kids was doing. They was showing off their turkey art, delighting the residents with the holiday decor, that kind of thing. Well, in trade for that, what the nursing home residents were going to do for them little kiddos was put on a puppet show. And so Dewey Morton had a job in that, and they needed him back in there in that mess hall to go ahead and be part of this puppet show. It was a story about a turkey that needed to get home for Thanksgiving because his dad's gobble disappeared since the son went off to work for the railroad. His dad's gobble disappeared from heartbreaks, what they say. Boy, he ain't gobbling no more. Not since his son took off on his own to go be a man turkey and work on the railroad. And boy, I sure miss him this holiday season kind of thing. So this is the show we was about to see with these hand puppets. And Dewey Morton was one of these puppets. And they got a big old sheet. So you just your hand stick up behind the sheet because that's supposed to be the turkey, and then you hide behind there and you move your little fingers, to make the turkey's mouth move or whatever like that. Y'all probably know how that goes anyhow. Even if you didn't go to school for puppet shows, you can probably know what I'm talking about. So in this puppet show story, whatever you call it, turkeys celebrate Thanksgiving. And their main dish is Jell-O. Because you're probably thinking, well, what's a turkey doing celebrating Thanksgiving? Don't they know they get ate on Thanksgiving Day? I don't know what a turkey knows, y'all guys. I ain't in the mind of a turkey, and I didn't go to school for turkeys. But I'm telling you in this nursing home hand puppet story, the turkeys celebrate Thanksgiving by eating Jell-O. Say what you want, but I found myself wondering what was going to happen next. And I think with any good story, if that's happening, the storyteller's doing a good job, so bravo to whoever wrote the nursing home hand turkey puppet show. Elmore Fizdale had a little puppet that was the son turkey. He's the boy. He's the one that went off to work on the railroad. He was coming back, from the railroad. But the daddy's gobble had disappeared because the daddy is so heartbroken. I ain't seen his son. So Elmore Fizdale's hand is working the son turkey. Now the good news is nobody had to remember lines. I mean, ain't that the hardest part about being in a play? If you in a play, I got to remember all these lines. I got to memorize all these lines and then say all these lines. Not just say them. You got to say them at the right time. You can't just show up right there and then just say them first thing, get all your lines out, and then wait for everybody else to do theirs. There's back ways and forth ways. There's conversations, all that kind of thing. It's like when you cram for a test at the schoolhouse and you say, boy, I hope they give me that test the first thing of the day because this stuff's in my brain, but it's spilling out. I got to get it onto the test before I forget it. Like you want to just say your lines, but they don't have to worry about that. That's what I'm saying. They ain't got to worry about none of that because what happened here is that they just have to work their hands. There's a narrator. There's somebody that's got the lines in front of them, and they read them. And so that's how that go. And I'll get to that in just a second. Let me tell you right now who the narrator is. That's Neil McKinney. Neil and Danita, his wife, they run the Live Nativity in town. And, like a narrator, they just telling you the story. That sometimes they might be in the story, but a lot of times in the play they sitting off to the side like, let me tell you about the time the old turkey came back from the railroad. Or they ain't even sitting off to the side, they on microphone and they hiding somewhere. You just hear the voice come out the heavens like, oh boy, I'm just hearing this in my brain, in my mind's eye. So anyhow, or my mind's ear, I guess. But Neil McKinney, anyways, is narrating. Now, he ain't a nursing home resident. He's just a town resident, but he's helping out because he like to pitch out and serve like that, or pitch in, I guess. Pitch out, you can do that in softball. Not a lot of that these days, because I'll reach over across the base and I'll smack a little opposite field soft single. But that's a story for a different season. Anyhow, all the nursing home folks got to do is move that puppet around with their hands. Move that little mouth and just kind of, maybe they got to dink-a-dink-a-dink, walk that turkey left ways or right ways or front ways or back ways. But it's just sock puppets, y'all guys. There ain't like a lot of, it ain't as fancy even as artwork these school kids. Now, they did have googly eyes on them. They glued them googly eyes onto these socks, and then the nursing home residents shoved their hands in there elbow deep into these socks, and they worked them turkeys. They look like turkey, kindly, but you can tell they socks too. Like, you ain't fooled. Nobody's going like, boy, did they bring a real turkey in here? Like, none of that was happening. Does that make sense? Well, anyhow, Doreen Fundle, y'all know Doreen. She got a pet goldfish. You know the name of that goldfish? Well, on 3, we could say it together if you want to. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Captain Thunderboots. That's right. Well, anyhow, Doreen is Captain Thunderboots, nursing home mama or whatever, but Doreen Fundle played the mama turkey in the play puppet show, who was busy making Jell-O. Now, thankfully, they didn't use real Jell-O for the old puppet show. It's like what they call a prop. You can't hold nothing real good as a sock puppet unless you're looking like you're holding it in your mouth. That's all. You ain't got no arms. Ain't a sock puppet with arms. All they got's just that little bitty head, that little bitty face. It looks like somebody that took their teeth out. Like they just gumming everything. How them little turkey. Any sock puppet. If you really don't know what I'm talking about, but I think you do, go stick your hand in a sock and try to make it talk. And that's exactly what we're talking about right now. So the only way any puppet was going to hold to Jell-O is by grabbing it in a turkey mouth, right? Well, Doreen was going to go make the Jell-O in the puppet kitchen. This is in the play. Like Mama Turkey's going to do. I need to go get the Jell-O ready for the Thanksgivin. We're going to have quite the spread this year. Red Jell-O, green Jell-O, orange Jell-O. And anyway, she was going to that puppet kitchen in this puppet show, and her eye fell off. So one of them googly eyes came off the Mama Turkey's sock puppet. And everybody, like I said, they behind a sheet, so you can only see the turkey puppets. But apparently, Doreen was really into it, and she started screaming when that eye fell down behind her behind that sheet. It scared her because, they talk about this, like they call it method acting, like if an actor go ahead and like they become this character, they in it, and it's really they life at that moment. So in that moment when Doreen was going to the Mama Turkey, going to the kitchen to make Jell-O for Thanksgiving, and her eye fell off, imagine the horror and the scaredness that happened. Well, Doreen screamed. They brought her real Jell-O to calm her down. She had to sit down behind that sheet for a minute, and her little Mama Turkey puppet disappeared so they could just calm Doreen down, and she got to eat a little bit of real Jell-O. Now, Dewey Morton, he was a Sergeant Jell-O turkey with an Army helmet on. So his little sock puppet had on an Army helmet. He was Sergeant Jell-O turkey, and he had to dance at the end. That was his job, or his hand had to, hand puppets. And they did have some treats at the end for everybody, too. And so it kind of went, anyways, is a happy ending in case you really got drawn into the puppet story. Just so you know, it was happy, but it was a little bit of a circus, as you could imagine. I don't think anybody was surprised by that. And they had these nursing home treats at the end for everybody that you could eat, and you didn't have to be a hand puppet turkey to eat them. In fact, it's better if you wasn't. Them Rice Krispie treats and things shaped like turkeys, like sugar cookies with that orange icing on it. Turns out, y'all guys, Luke Bryan Spencer didn't have to eat that glue after all. They was all going to get punch. They called it turkey punch, but that's just because it's Thanksgiving week. There wasn't no turkey in the punch. They pinned up them kids' arts to the walls right there on the mess hall, so everybody got to walk around or roll around and check out the art and ooh and ah at the beautiful artwork that these kids have did. We got some real artists in our towns. And who knows, maybe them kids' art inspired some nursing home residents to glue and craft too. They like to do that down there. You know, I've been arting around. Like I said, you can check my show notes today for the eBay link on the possums art. See how that turned out. After a quick check of the bus to make sure it was all clear of Dewey Morton and any other mischievous nursing home residents, them kiddos went back to the schoolhouse. And you remember that on them field trips when you was a school child, and then you go back to the schoolhouse after the field trip. I mean, the day's pretty much over. You got to pack up your backpack, and you basically ready to go home. It's pretty exciting at that point. And then the nursing home returned to being a festive party with never a dull moment. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Check them show notes for all that's going on. There's a lot to be thankful for. I have to tell you that. And I'm thankful that y'all tuned in this week to hang out with me a little bit. All y'all, I hear from you. I get them texts. I get them emails. I know some of y'all listen with your kids on the way to work. Maybe you listening on the way to Granny's house this Thanksgiving. Maybe you just on a walk by yourself. Maybe you thinking about cleaning. Maybe you thinking about cooking. Maybe you thinking about just taking a little rest. But I just want you to take a moment today and list a couple things. Couple of things you're thankful for. I got one right now. I'm thankful for y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Buddy, I'm thankful for sock puppets too. And regular socks. And hey, if you didn't eat glue this week hoping for a free Dr. Pepper at the Nursing Home Puppet Show, you having a pretty good week. Me, I'm Tabin Dillard. This is the Tabin Dillard Podcast. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all guys. Until next time, we'll see you later.